Hello, my name is Morgan and I go to Valparaiso High School, and the title of my project is The Halo Effect Based on Teenagers' Levels of Self-Esteem and Intelligence. Have you ever looked at someone and then made an assumption about them and soon realized you were insanely wrong? Take this man for example. He may appear to be homeless, but what we don't know is if he really is. He could be a doctor, a teacher, or even a firefighter, but we don't know. Making these assumptions is inevitable, especially in the world that we live in. But what's important is understanding why we make these assumptions about people. So for my experiment, I interviewed 100 students at my school between the ages of 16 and 18 in a predominant white race. I asked them a series of pre-questions and then had them take a survey. My hypothesis for my experiment is if a student has a higher level of self-esteem along with a higher level of intelligence, then they will be less sympathetic and understanding towards someone that they do not know at all. For my experiment, I used a variety of things. I used Google Sheets, forms, databases, and a multitude of research that you will find in my Works Cited page. When I interviewed them, I asked the pre-questions, and the pre-questions were, what is your GPA, your self-esteem from a scale of 1 to 10 based on attractiveness only, are you in a relationship, and do you consider yourself popular? By asking these questions, I was able to interpret their data more specifically and understand why they rated these people the way that they did, and then compare it in a more efficient and effective way. I got this idea in my IB psychology course when we discussed the halo effect. When we discussed it, I was instantly interested, and I had to learn more. So I continued my research. When I continued researching, I found that there was a multitude of psychological concepts that played a part in not only my experiment, but the concept of the halo effect as a whole. When we look at my data, we can see that gender and age did not play a role. They only differed by 0.2 overall when comparing males 16 through 18 and females 16 through 18. I personally believe that the females were going to score lower because of the scientific nature that women have a more instinctual, nurturing aspect. But in fact, it didn't play a role. But what did play a role was self-esteem and intelligence. And we can observe that through the graphs. When you look at the graphs that compare the red and the blue, you will notice that the higher the self-esteem equaled the higher of intelligence. Therefore, we can make the conclusion that self-esteem and intelligence do affect the way that we perceive others. After I got my results, I still continued to do research, and I found that the research that I conducted is very applicable in the real world, whether it be in the courtroom, the workplace, or even in the classroom or discussing sexuality. This research is crucial because understanding how the mind works and how we place judgments on others is very important. So we can conclude that based off my data that self-esteem and intelligence do in fact play a part in how we perceive others in the world around us that we do not know. The reason why I did this research was to really deeply understand the human brain and understand why we form ideas the way that we do and what parts of ourselves influence that. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. And also, due to the current situation with coronavirus, I have been using my resources that I have now to the best of my ability, and that is why I cannot show my poster as I tape this video for you. So thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this, and thanks again.